We will talk about the different branches and the fields of study in the area of psychology. Psychology, as we know, that it is a study of behavior or mind of an individual. So, if we try to categorize the overall field of psychology into certain subfields or the branches, so we can say broadly it is the two branches: one of the theoretical branch, and one is the applied branch. Theoretical branch, as we can understand, that is something which is basically deal with the theory part, and the applied branch is something which is like the real application, the place where exactly the psychology is getting used. So, in the field of theoretical branch of psychology, we can say that it is general psychology, physiological psychology. General psychology, it means generally what we try to study, like learning, behavior, motivation, leadership, and all that comes under the orbit of general psychology. I can say that it's the most basic concept, and it is the level from where the other concepts like comes into existence. So one who is trying to get immediate connection with psychology will definitely be having the prior knowledge of general psychology. Then further we can talk about physiological psychology, that deals with the physiological prospects and aspects of a human behavior, like physiologically whatever is going on in my body that directly impacts my psychological state of mind. So the study of that field also related to the theoretical branches of psychology. Then we are talking about the experimental psychology, different kind of experiment which takes place and the research which is getting conducted. For that, a collective approach of experimental psychology is in existence. Then we talk about the child psychology. Child psychology is something that is basically related with the earlyhood childhood child, the how child interact with the environment, how child learns, and what the needs of the child are. It is also called the developmental psychology. Like since the time the human takes birth till the time he gets to maturity, every time developmental psychology is in use. Then if specifically we are talking about the animal psychology or the comparative psychology, then on one side psychology, when we take the name, we just simply say it is a study of mind, and we get like limited to only human mind. But it's not only like that, it even studies the behavior of animals, because somehow we are learning the things from the environment in the same way animals are also learning. So on the basis of the experiments which we conduct on animals, we try to derive some theories for humans also. So that is also animal or comparative psychology, and which comes in the branch of theoretical psychology. Then we are having social psychology, the psychology of more than one peoples in society, how society interacts, how society's group dynamics works and all. And then we talk about abnormal psychology, like specifically when we find any person in an abnormal state, or a state which is not standard one, or which is not the normal one. So for studying those phenomena, we study abnormal psychology, and abnormal psychology is also in the orbit of theoretical branch of the psychological studies. Now when we are talking about the applied branch, so there are very many branches. So earlier it was very limited, but today we see that in every part of life, in all walks of life, we see the use of psychology, and we can say that yes, psychology is applied everywhere. But starting from the initial one, there was educational psychology, well, the type of education which we are getting today. Even the government, when planning about the various educational policies and all, they keep in mind the educational psychology, that what is the best, considering the learning activity of any human, how the education system can be enriched and enhanced. Concerning about all those areas, we see the applied branch of psychology and educational psychology. When we talk about industrial psychology, which is really meant for like general, all the concepts of general psychology comes in, but specifically we are focusing on the industrial area, like what is the relationship between management and the workers, what are the group dynamics which takes place among the workers, how we have to recruit, the HR process, how we have to manage, how we have to do various kind of constructive activities in the industry, how we can enhance our output or production. So considering all the domains and to for the smooth functioning of the industry, we apply industrial psychology. Clinical psychology is something that as we go to doctors for some kind of prescription of various medicinal things. So in the same way today, it is the need that it is the time when people are having more problem in their mind than their body. So for that, clinical psychology comes into role. And then we are talking about medical or health psychology, like on one side when we got into trouble, we go to the counselor, or we go to the psychiatrist, and we get some remedies for that by various therapies like CCT, CBT, catharsis and all. But on the other side to like work in a healthy way, to regain and to retain our optimum. We are talking about medical or health psychology. Then specifically focusing on studying the cognitive structure or the behavioral pattern of criminals, we have criminal psychology. Then for legal advisory and legal activities, we are having legal psychology. For science and technology, with the development of science and technology, we are talking about the engineering psychology also. Other than that, it applies in the organizations, in the environment, in the military, in the aerospace, in the sports, in like a geriatric field, like in old age psychology, politics, yoga, spirituality, community life, and situation of natural calamities, extremism and terrorism and war. Like all things are like related with psychology. When we are talking about war psychology, that means we are trying to study the mind of the army soldiers, how we can motivate them, how we can feed them that thing so that they can be a warrior and all. Consumer psychology, advertising psychology, communication psychology, neuropsychology. Like we can say that now we can have an idea that yes, whatever is going on, wherever humans are, where human interacting with anything outside, that comes in the orbit of psychology. So at the end, we can conclude that there is no psychology, there is only psychologies. There is no psychology, there is only psychologies. This is what through which we can see that how important the area of application of psychology is.